Hey there, gorgeous souls, and welcome to today's message. We are up to day 22 of the Choosing Love Over Fear Challenge, and I am super excited to share with you guys a bit of a challenge and an opportunity for me to grow in my deepening of my own integrity. So I've had a couple of things happen over the last 12 or so hours, and it's definitely been insightful. And what I want to share with you guys today is actually going to be something that I hope just gets you kind of thinking in terms of where you might be currently out of integrity in your own life. And just kind of like I have, and like the story I'm going to share with you guys today, have been kind of challenged and given an opportunity to be really at choice point in terms of what I choose to do next, and whether or not I am in integrity and be in this kind of pure energy. I know what I'm doing. I'm coming from the right place. My ego might not get what it wants necessarily, but I'm unwilling to sacrifice my own sense of self and integrity on a deeper level for what my ego may want in the moment. All right. And so my job then is, when I notice times like that where my ego is not getting what it wants, it's up to me now to actually nurture that part of myself and to hear it out and to honor it in some way, but also to just guide it back gently towards my centered self, towards my own integrity, and so that I can show up and be the human being that I am choosing to be and can be proud of. So I'd love for you guys to play along at home. As I go through this message, I would absolutely love for you to share your own experiences, your own thoughts, your own words of wisdom with our community here. And definitely, if any questions arise or any points for discussion that you feel could really improve and amplify this message and this conversation so we can truly explore it, then I would love for you guys to drop some comments and connect in. And if none of that is coming through for you, I'd simply love for you to connect and just say hi and share with everybody here where in the world you are tuning in from. All right, so let's get into it. So today's message is, when it comes to the battle of your ego's lies and your soul's purity, who wins? All right, now that is the question. Now, let me just break it down firstly, and then I'm going to apply it with some story of my personal direct experience in my life right now. But let's break that down. So the ego's lies, right? That part within every single one of us, right? We all have an ego. It has a lot of value in terms of alerting us to pain and fear and all of the things to just give us something to push up against and determine whether this is going to be a right decision or not. The problem is when the ego is in the major driving seat, right? It's not just in the back seat. We don't even want it in the co-pilot necessarily, but it's not just in the back seat, alerting us to certain things that we might otherwise miss and that might be valuable for our survival, but it's actually in the driver's seat, right? When the ego is in the driver's seat, it's totally fine with manipulating, lying, wanting to get its own way, doing whatever it can to get ahead, to be better than, all of those different things, right? And so we don't really want to in the driver's seat, but we're not going to be free of it in our human existence. And we need to learn to know its value so it can subordinate to our higher self and be kind of a little assistant to it, right? To move in this world. But there's a difference when that ego is in the driver's seat, right? And it's going to manipulate, lie, doesn't care about integrity, just wants to get what it wants, versus when your soul in its purity, right? When I say your soul, what I'm talking about is your inner place where your centered self is, right? There's a part of you that you've experienced that is calm, that is loving, that is totally centered, that doesn't go from this thing to that thing, that doesn't have that same attachment that ego does. There's a part in you that is unwilling to go against truth. It is your truth meter, right? It is that part of you that when you can really tap into and develop your awareness of and allow that part to surrender to that part really to be your guiding force, there's a total different experience of life. It's a pure way of being. When I say pure, that can have a lot of negative connotations around it as well. What I mean by that is there's an ease and a flow from living from that deeper part within you that is at the core center of yourself, that is living and aligned with truth, the truth of the moment. Whatever is needed in this moment, it will do, and it will do with all of its heart. But it is unwilling and it's unable to go against your integrity. That is, when you're going against what's true for you, that's your ego being more in the driver's seat than that deeper centered self. All right. And so what happened for me? Let me talk into this a little bit with you guys. But basically, a few days ago, I got really inspired. I applied for a spiritual course that I wanted to take. It's the next level of Vipassana. So if you guys have been following me for a while, then you know that I've been, over the last year and a half, I've been doing a lot of Vipassana silent meditation retreats. In fact, I've done 3 10-day silent meditation retreats, and I served at one of the 10-day silent meditation retreats as well, which just means that I cooked for 70 people with a team of another 7 people, and we, just really made sure that people got an opportunity to experience the tool of Vipassana, right? Anyway, I dedicated a lot of time to this because of the immense value that it's added to my own life. And I was really called to go to the next level of the course, which is called Satipatthana. And basically, I wasn't fully aware of what it is. I just knew the prerequisites and I met the requirements. And so I wanted to, create this new opportunity for myself to go and explore a new level of my own inner awareness, see what resonates, surrender to the process, get in and amongst it. Anyway, I applied, and even on the application form, I noticed that my soul was kind of in the driver's seat, because they can be quite particular about what they need for you to be doing and practicing in your everyday life in order to be able to be approved for one of these courses. And in particular, this particular course that I had applied for, you need to be doing Vipassana 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. You can't be practicing anything else, all the rest of it. And so I was really clearly honest in my application about some other practices that I'm currently committed to and engaging in. And basically I got an email back from them just last night before I went to sleep. And they were denying my application because I was practicing the Sadhguru practices, and basically they want you to just be in the purity of this one tool and not have any other tools that might take away from that one, right? And so I went to bed last night feeling pretty disappointed and, a little bit like let down and a bit angry in a way and a bit judgmental and all these things. And then I just thought, look, I just got to sleep on this, right? Like I went to bed, I slept on it. And then this morning, still feeling kind of that heaviness, I went into my journaling and I just kind of let it out, right? And I let my ego be heard, right? I sat with my ego and its judgments and its disappointments and it's kind of like annoyance that I was so honest and truthful and now I've been denied, right? Like all the things that our ego wants to do. It doesn't care about integrity and truth. Like it just wants to get what it wants, right? And so I was there with that and present with that. And as I let that part of me unfold, I eventually got to a place where I could just completely own that it was a great opportunity for me to practice my integrity, because I could understand why they wanted to do it the way that they wanted to do it with their particular rules. I disidentified from taking it personally, because they don't know who the hell I am at all, right? And I could see it for what it was, and the pure intentions for having those rules, right? And I had heard my ego out, and then basically got to the point where I actually saw it as this beautiful opportunity. Maybe I wasn't meant to go to this course, right? That's due to happen in April. Maybe this was just the opportunity for me to practice my integrity, and just a check-in point to see whether my ego was more in the driver's seat, who's willing to manipulate, lie, and sell out on integrity, or my soul, my centered self in its purity. And as I was journaling this out, I realized not only that I understood their rules, but also just the honest truth was I was unwilling to let go of the other spiritual practices that I'm engaged in and committed to in my life right now, in order to meet their requirements. And I just owned that, and that felt right to me. And yeah, there's that, my ego feeling disappointed, but this bigger, deeper part, just feeling so grateful for the opportunity to practice my own integrity, to build the muscle so that that part can lead more fully, right? Rather than having my ego in the driver's seat, who might get what it wants, but at what sacrifice, right? At the sacrifice of the purity of my own integrity. And that just doesn't feel good to me. And it means I'm going to have to do a lot more practice to get resolved from that as well. So it just makes no sense, right? When we start going down that path and understanding and experiencing what it is to the system to be out of integrity, and the issues and problems that you're just handballing into your future to have to resolve on a mental, emotional, physical, and energetic realm, right? And so as I got that awareness, a second little challenge came through for my integrity, and I received an email offering me part of these services that I hadn't yet been able to go through with from a course that I invested in before COVID. And this organization, I spoke quite a lot about them at the time. So any of you guys who've been following me for a while know that I was pretty disillusioned with an experience that happened with a company that I invested tens of thousands of dollars with. And basically part of the program that I had paid for is to be able to go and speak on a 3-city tour and speak about whatever I'm inspired by to their audiences. And it came through, and I was like, oh, and this part of me, like more of this rebel part came out with me that was like, yeah, I'm going to do what I paid for, right? And yeah, I'm going to show them, I'm going to show up, and I'm going to make the most of it, no matter what, out of integrity things happened whilst I was in that organization that I wouldn't want to actually associate with, right? This part of me came forward, this egoic part of me that we all have came forward, this rebellious part, and it kind of felt good. I kind of felt this fire in my belly, like, F yeah, like this will be so amazing. What opportunity could I get from this, right? The ego is all about taking, not giving, right? So this part came through. And yeah, and sometimes getting in your ego, it feels good, right? It feels enlivening, it feels energized, it can feel fiery. And so I witnessed this part come through, and I'm not fully at the end of that yet. I'm allowing it to kind of have its experience. But my inclination tells me that that centered part within me, in my highest level of integrity, just wouldn't be engaging in an environment and with an organization that I've already had very disingenuous experiences with, right? So I'm going to let my ego play it out a little bit. I'm going to let that rebel within me come through, and I'm going to investigate it, and I'm going to see if it's got some, golden nuggets that I might be able to move on. But only if I can be in integrity with my core-centered self and know that that part within me is actually in the driver's seat, will I engage in that opportunity, right? Feeling as though that won't be the case. I'm feeling as though that would be my ego who's willing to sacrifice its integrity to go down in that direction. But we'll see. I've still got a little bit more investigation to do. But the reason why I wanted to share these little experiences that have been happening for me over the last 12 hours with you guys is just to, as an example of just checking in with yourself and making sure that you are developing the muscle of your centered self to be in the driver's seat of your life versus having the ego always in that driver's seat, creating an existence for you that are momentary highs and bigger lows, right? Like, because you are selling out on what's true for you to get your way in the moment versus being okay with letting go of the disappointment, not maybe getting what you want in the moment, but getting something so much more fulfilling and enlivening, which is like that total alignment in your own system, to be the person that you're proud to be, to know that you do not sell out, to know that you are empowered within yourself, and you're not at the whim and the mercy of external circumstances that you can't control, right? So hope that this is a message of value to each and every one of you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you have anything that you'd like to share on this topic, or maybe even just an investigation you want to go on, like in terms of what decision in your life right now are you currently faced with and you're just not sure which direction to go, right? Maybe you can use that as a great tool for yourself right now to just go do a little bit of journaling after this session and just check in with yourself and go, what are my options here? And then keep checking in and going, is this coming from the ego or is this coming from my centered self? Is this coming from this part of me that just wants, this initial, sorry, I was shooing away a fly then. Is it coming from this part that just wants this, I want to get what I want and I'm willing to sacrifice what's true for me. I'm willing to manipulate. I don't want to deal with other people's problems if I was to be in integrity, whatever the manipulation is, right? It can be so well intentioned, but if you're selling out on your truth, you're coming from the ego, right? Versus, can I check in and see what my centered self would do here? And oftentimes you just need to hear your ego out to see it in its entirety and to stop its incessant chatter and attachment, and just then be able to take this meta perspective on the scenario and choose what the pathway forward in the long term will lead you towards your highest self, your most empowered self, right? So that they're two very different ways of living, and my invitation is to just check in with yourself on a current decision that you have to make in your life. And you might not be able to, it might not be that clear for you in the beginning, but you just have to keep showing up and keep checking in, and it's very, very subtle. And the more subtle you can get, right, through practice of like, is it this or is it that? And sometimes you need to play it out, right, in either direction to really feel and experience what's the right decision, what's the wrong decision. Is it coming from your ego or is it coming from that strong centered self? All right, one of the directions you're not going to be proud of, you're going to feel ashamed of, you don't want people to know about. And the other place is going to be, it doesn't even matter how other people perceive it or you, because you know you're in integrity and you can be proud of who you are, right? That is such a different place to live from. And my hope is that you're living it, or you're on your pathway to living that from that place right now. All right, so that is my message for you guys. I definitely want to check in. I'm just going to say hello to you guys who I can see who have joined me. And like I said, please do drop some comments and check in. And if you're catching the recording on this one, still drop your comments. I will get back to you. I've got a little bit of a backload on the videos. I'm so grateful for the comments that you guys have been leaving. I'm going to get back to you guys, and I just so appreciate you engaging in this content as well, and hope it does serve you. That's why I'm showing up. All right, so Richard is here, and Maha and Juan and Benito and Corey. Good to see you guys. I hope today's message has served you. And hello to you, Mendo. So good to see each and every one of you guys here. Really hope today's message has served you. And if it does, please do share it with another exceptional soul just like yourself, who you feel could gain some insight or value from this message as well. And I hope you're enjoying this bit of a love over fear challenge series that I'm doing with you guys. And I hope to see you tomorrow for what? Day 24 tomorrow. All right, looking forward to it. So much love coming your way, and I'll see you then. Mwah.